So all of our guests, please be seated, and recipients, please remain standing. With sincere mind and heart, please make a full bow to the Buddha. With sincere mind and heart, please make a full bow to all those who have supported you. With sincere mind and heart, please make a full bow to Roshi and Sensei and Rinpoche. So all the recipients, please kneel in Shukke, and the postulants, please come forward. Please make a full bow and kneel in Shukke. Honored guests, family, and recipients, I respectfully announce to everyone that the Tokudo, chaplain ordination, and graduation ceremony will now begin. Roshi will now perform Shasui. Roshi will now perform Shasui.
All is fresh and new. I will now invite all of the energies that we practice with to witness this ceremony.
So all of our guests can put your hands in gasho, palms together, and then repeat after Roshi.
Being one with the Buddhas in the 10 directions.
Being one with the Buddhas in the 10 directions.
Being one with the Dharma in the 10 directions.
Being one with the Dharma in the 10 directions.
Being one with the Sangha in the 10 directions.
Being one with the Sangha in the 10 directions.
Being one with our principal teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha.
Being one with our original teacher, Shakyamuni Buddha.
Being one with the great compassionate Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva.
Being one with the great compassionate Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva.
Being one with the great wise Samantabhadra Bodhisattva.
Being one with the great wise Samantabhadra Bodhisattva.
Being one with the great holy Manjushri Bodhisattva.
Being one with the great holy Manjushri Bodhisattva.
Being one with Dogen Zenji.
Being one with Dogen Zenji.
Being one with Keizan Zenji.
Being one with Keizan Zenji.
Being one with the great teachers in our Bodhisattva lineage.
Being one with the great teachers in our Bodhisattva lineage. So chaplains and graduates, please sit comfortably. And if the residents would pass the cushions down, thank you. Postulants, please stand and make one full bow. Kneel and Shukke.
Being one with the 3 treasures, the Buddha Tathagata, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, all the elders. May this ceremony be witnessed and blessed for Bushin and Kyoto, and also for our graduates, and also for those who are receiving lay ordination today. And particularly to you, too, who have made this commitment, taking full priest vows. The mind source is completely calm, and the sea of the Dharma is fathomless. One who cannot realize it wanders eternally, and one who realizes it is immediately at home. To be able to play freely in the field of enlightenment, it is necessary to drop attachments. Vow to drop them. Let them go. Do not doubt. There is nothing surpassing dropping attachments for entering the enlightened way. Cutting one's hair is cutting the root of human attachment. And if one cuts off human attachment, even just a little bit, one's true body is immediately revealed. Changing your clothes, you step out of worldly delusion and can thus attain freedom. Therefore, among all the Buddhas in the three worlds, not one attained enlightenment without dropping attachments and penetrating dualistic views. The merit of dropping attachments and becoming a priest is unsurpassable. For example, though there is great merit in building a temple that reaches the 33rd heaven, if one compares the merit of this with that of letting go, it is not even 100th of it. Its worth cannot be measured. A temple may become ruined and unusable, but the merit of becoming a priest is always increasing towards enlightenment and will never be lost. Even though you do not know your enlightenment, by dropping attachments, you are already a true child of the Buddha. You are the most fortunate of all beings in the three worlds. Among all beings in the 6 realms, this is the most commendable life. Please reflect. Your body-mind is suddenly turning from eternal transmigration, and you are being irreversibly and eternally born in the no-birth country. Clinging and delusion do not cease, yet your original true nature has been revealed. After entering the priesthood, neither heaven covers nor does earth sustain. Having nothing with which to cover your round head and your robes embodying enlightenment, you stand out. Whoever comes in contact with you receives great benefit. Your abode is beyond the 3 worlds, and its virtue pervades the 10 directions. You walk equally among the Buddhas, peacemakers, and ancestors. Please, it says pay obeisance, but I just say, be nice to me sometimes. The English are very stoic, you know. So is Bushin. But in your different ways, respect your teachers. You've had so many. And respect the Buddha and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who bring life to your life. Thus, it is said, in the drifting, wandering world, it is very difficult to cut off attachments. Now, you are vowing to let them go and realize the truth of emptiness. This is true gratitude. Think right now with gratitude of your parents and thank them for having given you this life. Carefully consider the mutual karma that brought you here. Think of what your loved ones, partners have done, and further, what your Sangha has done to support you. Think of what your teacher has done, and your many teachers, what they have done to support you. You will now be able to dedicate this life freely to the welfare and service of all beings. Now, realize the world of impermanence. This is rare and unthinkable. When the first time bodhisattvas raised the Bodhi mind in the midst of birth and death, single-mindedly seeking enlightenment with unmovable determination, the merit they derive from this very moment mind is deep, broad, and truly boundless. Though Tathagatas may explain it fully, it can never be fathomed. It can never be exhausted.
Postulants, please make one full bow. And kneel in Shukke.
Now I give you the inner robe of the Buddha. Kyoto. Now I give you the inner robe of the Buddha.
Postulants, please kneel facing each other with arms outstretched, and your jishas will dress you. Postulants, please make one full bow. And kneel in Shukke.
Now the last strands of your hair will be cut. Only a Buddha can do this. Will you allow me to cut your hair?
I will.
Will you allow me to cut your hair?
I will.
Will you allow me to cut your hair?
I will.
Postulants, please repeat after me. Though my form is completely altered,
Though my form is completely altered,
I remain faithful to my purpose.
I remain faithful to my purpose,
Parting with human attachment,
parting with human attachment,
and thus renewing myself.
and thus renewing myself.
Leaving home,
Leaving home,
I seek the enlightened way.
I seek the enlightened way.
I vow to free all creations.
I vow to free all creations.
Please make one full bow. And kneel in Shukke. place the zagu in front of you, the open end to the right. Postulants, please repeat after me. Bodhisattva Mahasattvas,
Bodhisattva Mahasattvas,
please concentrate your heart on me.
please concentrate your heart on me.
I say your name.
I, Kyojin,
Now receive this bowing cloth,
now receive this bowing cloth,
which shall forever protect my robes.
which shall forever protect my robe.
All Buddhas receive and use this cloth.
All Buddhas receive and use this cloth.
May I forever bow on this with all beings.
May I forever bow on this with all beings.
Please make one full bow. And kneel in Shukke. Postulants, please repeat after me. Bodhisattva Mahasattvas,
Bodhisattva Mahasattvas,
please concentrate your hearts on me.
please concentrate your hearts on me.
I say your name.
I, Kyojin,
Now receive this 5-striped okesa
now receive this 5-striped okesa
and vow to maintain it.
and vow to maintain it.
You may now remove your rakusus and please hand them to your jishas. Postulants holding your okesa in front of you, please repeat after me. Bodhisattva Mahasattvas,
Bodhisattva Mahasattvas,
please concentrate your hearts on me.
please concentrate your hearts on me.
I say your name.
I, Kyojin,
Now receive this 7-striped okesa
now receive this 7-striped okesa
and vow to maintain it.
and vow to maintain it.
Please put your okesas on your heads. And together we will chant the verse of the robe. Vast is the robe of liberation. Teaching to awaken countless beings. Vast is the road of Please hand your okesa to the jishas and stand up facing each other. Please make one full bow using your zagus. And kneel in Shukke. Postulants, repeat after me. Bodhisattva Mahasattvas,
Bodhisattva and Mahasattva,
please concentrate your hearts on me.
please concentrate your hearts on me.
I, say your name,
I, Kyushin,
now receive this Buddha bowl
now receive this Buddha bowl
and vow to always maintain and use it.
and vow to always maintain and use it.
You may hand your bowls to your jishas. And please make one full bow. Please pick up your zagus and remain standing. And please make a standing bow to Roshi
And Sensei and Rinpoche.
and Sensei.
The whole package.
And please return to your seats.
It seems kind of simple, doesn't it? I will say that when I took my first vows, our Jukai, I had no idea. You can imagine in 1965, I began to sit. 1975, I received my vows. I think of all of the teachers and tolerances that have been part of this journey. And those who have ordained with me, and those who are ordaining today as lay chaplains, and those who are graduating from our chaplaincy training program and are socially engaged Buddhists. The world needs you. And there are many Dharma doors. There's the Dharma door of the cello, the Dharma door of kids, the Dharma door of LBGTQ squared. I don't know. Elders, the Dharma door of fundamentalist Christians, the Dharma door of dying people, the Dharma door that we pass through of those who are serving others in every kind of role imaginable, whether at REI or in a hospital. The Dharma door of working with those who are seeking refuge and fleeing from violence of war and violence in their countries. The Dharma door of working with women and children. The Dharma door of working with chaplains. The Dharma door of doing the dishes, mopping the floors, keeping your mouth healthy directly and indirectly. The world needs people who live by vow. And there are so many ways to live by vow represented in this room. Looking at Catherine, thinking about all of the doctors that you as a clinician now serve who are really suffering from this broken institution that we call medicine. My gratitude is profound because I know what it takes to practice in the charnel grounds. And every different charnel ground, be it intimate or a world that you enter from afar like we do in working with people in Nepal, gives us the chance to really renew our vows, to remember who we really are, to recommit in our hearts to ending suffering in this world in the way that is possible for each of us as individuals. And I'm just looking into the eyes of one of our chaplains who is a lay chaplain who graduated and who's working in the military. And I'm just looking at another chaplain who was a physicist who ended up being completely inspired to work through the vehicle of story and with older people. This is our practice. And it is also about humility. It is also that experience of understanding that we in this room are so fortunate to have the Dharma and the resources, the material resources, and often the identities that give us a kind of platform to serve. And as one of our chaplains to be said, we have to be very conscious of the fact of our privilege. And to stand in that kind of responsibility that privilege allows us. And to see it and to work it. And as I said to our ordainees and our wonderful men and women who are graduating today, we'll fall off the wagon 1,000 times. All of us have feet of clay. And it's why we repeat again and again the precepts to remind us to come home, to take refuge. Not in a sectarian, prideful way, but into who really each being is. The potential for each being to be free of suffering and to serve that potential, just as John was talking about serving his children. I'm so grateful to Kyodo and Bushin. Our identities, in Zen we talk about plague of identities, so it's not to give you, if you will, another kind of doodad to enhance your tendencies towards spiritual materialism. But in fact, it is to drive even more deeply every step that you take inside of the territory of the Buddha land. The absolute value of living by vow and of taking refuge in your awakened nature and the awakened nature of others, and to be with the deeper truth of wisdom and compassion, what it lends us in all beings, and to perceive that everything is our community of practice. Everything. Yeah. So my gratitude to our two new novice priests. You'll get used to the yard goods.
They're men of the cloth.
You are men of lots of cloth. And it will be like your skin. It's Alan and I and Rinpoche. Rinpoche's a lot younger than us, but he kind of started out his thing when he was 8 or 9. So fortunate that he didn't have to untangle as many of his patterns that constrict. It's great to be a kid to do this, but you know, we're mothers and fathers and grannies, and it will be your skin. It is your skin. The Raksu is your skin. It's your bones, and it is your marrow.
So we'll now prepare to renew our precepts. So if everyone in the center here could hand their cushions. And then novice priests and others, please kneel in Shukke. So you'll need to put your zagus out. No, just the recipients.
Having made atonement, you have purified body, speech, and mind. You will now reveal yourself as the three treasures which have the three virtues and merits of the one body three treasures, the realized three treasures, and the maintained three treasures. Once you have revealed yourself as the three treasures, all virtues and merits will be in complete realization. Yeah.
We'll now chant the verse of atonement. All my ancient twisted karma from beginningless greed, hate, and delusion, born of body, speech, and mind, I now fully atone. Taking refuge in the three treasures, please repeat after Roshi, but saying being rather than be.
Be one with Buddha.
Being one with the Buddha.
Be one with Dharma.
Being one with Dharma.
Be one with Sangha.
Be one with Sangha.
The Buddha has been revealed.
The Buddha has been revealed.
The Dharma has been revealed.
The Dharma has been revealed.
The Sangha has been revealed.
The Sangha has been revealed.
The three treasures are revealed as thus: the Tathagata Buddha, complete enlightenment and perfect wisdom, are your guides. Do not follow false or misleading ways. Please understand that we have been blessed by the compassion of Tathagata Buddha, and you have revealed the three treasures as thus. Will you maintain them?
I will.
Will you maintain them?
I will.
Will you really maintain them?
I will. Next, you will renew the three pure precepts.
Will you vow not to harm?
I will.
Will you vow to cultivate goodness?
I will.
Will you vow to help others?
I will. Next, you will renew the 10 pure mind practices.
Will you vow not to harm and vow to cherish all of life?
I will.
Will you vow not to steal and vow to be satisfied with what you have?
I will.
Will you vow not to cultivate greed and vow to encounter all creations with respect and dignity?
I will.
Will you vow not to lie and vow to listen and speak from the heart?
I will.
Will you vow not to be ignorant and vow to cultivate a mind that sees clearly?
I will.
Will you vow not to speak of others' faults and errors and vow to unconditionally accept what each moment has to offer?
I will.
Will you vow not to elevate yourself or put others down and vow to speak the truth without guilt or blame?
I will.
Will you vow not to be stingy and vow to use all the ingredients of your life?
I will.
Will you vow not to be angry and vow to transform suffering into wisdom?
I will.
Will you vow not to speak ill of the three treasures and vow to honor your life as an instrument of peacemaking.
I will.
These 16 precepts originated in the Sangha of Shakyamuni Buddha and have been transmitted through 82 generations to me. Now, I have given them to you. Will you maintain them?
I will.
Will you maintain them?
I will.
Will you really maintain them?
I will. Please make 3 full bows. And remain standing. Roshi will now chant the Gatha on renewing the precepts.
When sentient beings receive the precepts, they enter the realm of the Buddhas, which is the Buddha treasure. Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Truly they are the children of the Buddha. When sentient beings receive the precepts, they enter the realm of the Buddhas, which is the Buddha treasure. Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Truly they are the children of the Buddha. When sentient beings receive the precepts, they enter the realm of the Buddhas, which is the Buddha treasure. Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. Truly they are the children of the Buddha.
Please make a standing bow. Novice priest, pick up your zagus. And everyone can be seated comfortably. Invite Roshi to offer words to the ordaining chaplains. If you would
Actually,
like.
I'm going to ask Sensei.
So we've been practicing together and learning together for 3 years now, right?
2,
Well,
3, right?
3 for the chaplains.
Yeah.
And now you enter this path, which actually, now you continue on this path, as I was saying earlier. And I think that as Roshi, to continue a thought that she had laid out, people living in, who are deluded about their self, live according to habits and live according to circumstances that push and pull them through the world. And bodhisattvas live by vow. You've already taken these vows. We renew them again and again. But in a ceremony like this, they are being correctly and deeply transmitted to you. which is kind of it's a very subtle notion because there's nothing to be transmitted. There's nothing that you don't already have. And yet, this ordination coming from Roshi is the continuation, as she said, of 82 generations of correct transmission of the precepts. The precepts are at the heart of our practice. And the precepts, as you know because you've studied them, are guides for how we are in relationship to each other. It tells us about how to think, how to speak, how to act, and how to renew again and again, because they cannot be kept. And also because they are not something external to you. They are naturally arising. The word shila, which is the Sanskrit word, or the Pali word for precept, means kind of natural normalness, or normal naturalness. And yet this normalness is what you take into the ordinarily extraordinary circumstances of our world. And our world is suffering now. There's a great need for each of you, and each of you has entered, as Roshi said, different Dharma doors in different realms. But it's one world that is completely intertwined. And what is happening now is really not different from what has always been happening. When this is what the Buddha discovered when he awoke. And here we are 2,500 years later. There's certain external circumstances are different, but the same kinds of difficulties and the same kinds of challenges face us as faced him, faced his community, faced the society that he lived in. So, what will you do? How will you go forward, even in despair? Because you will, each of us encounters it, and it is our own contact with that suffering that is a Dharma door towards seeing the suffering of each person's circumstance. And of seeing, when we look at our own lives, we see the systems and structures that we are embedded in. It's very difficult to it's impossible to step aside from them. And we see that in the kind of training that we have been cultivating here, which is really, it's not exactly something new, but it's been articulated clearly in our training in a fresh way, which is that the suffering that we feel, the suffering that you experience as chaplains, is the suffering that is created out of the systems of oppression that exist in our world, and they come right down. These are not, systems are not some abstract thing. They impede the life force of each individual. So we have this wonderful kind of dynamic of seeing our own responsibility and of seeing that connection to everyone. So when we listen to the Lojong verse, to fold all blames into one, that's what you do as a chaplain. And blame may not be a great word, but it really means to take responsibility for the whole world. Each person who takes this ordination, takes that vow on herself, or himself. At the same time, we recognize we are never alone. We have our community of sisters and brothers in the practice. We have our larger community of sisters and brothers in the world. So we take everything on ourselves. That's our vow. That's our bodhisattva vow. And we also turn towards our friends, turn towards our teachers, turn towards all those who've come before, turn towards the unseen elders who are holding the space of the world. And we rely on them. We fall back into the arms of the Buddha, and we're sustained there. So my heart is open because I know each of your practice, and I wish you well.
Thank you, Alan.
So if all of our ordaining chaplains can stand in front of their cushions. And Roshi will now incense the wagesas, and the ordaining chaplains will receive them from Sensei Alan as their names are
Open
called.
some windows. Thank you.
Catherine Fitzgerald, if you can step forward. Aubrey Cutchin. Christina Manzoni. Liz Munns. Greg Rice.
Great, congratulations.
Jean Berolzheimer. Michelle Rudy.
Excuse me.
Our new chaplains will now be seated. We'll now acknowledge the graduation of our chaplaincy graduates. Roshi or Sensei, would you like to offer a few words to our graduates?
Me?
Well, really to both. Those who are being conferred as lay chaplains and those who have done the work both in the track of chaplaincy, who go into professional chaplaincy, and those who are socially engaged Buddhists who are out on the landscape changing systems. I said last night to you, or at some point, I'm in that state of where have I said what, but it's just been an incredible experience to journey with each of you on your very different paths. I've learned so much. I know Sensei Alan the same, and Rinpoche, I'm sure this is kind of a wild experience for you, huh? Yeah. This is like a thing that's kind of, they're not doing it every day in India, Nepal, and Tibet. These just incredible lay people who step into the Dharma with a sense of commitment and it being a real calling to work in the world, whether it's with homeless people. And Jackie, it's so good to see you. I'm so happy you're going to be talking with us tomorrow about your ministry, and knowing that at least one of our chaplains has been a homeless person. To talk about Christian fundamentalism and how to bridge that divide, and at least one of our chaplains has been a Christian fundamentalist. To deal with issues in medicine and nursing, and quite a few of our chaplains have been professional clinicians who, seeing how toxic the medical system is, chose this path, and on and on. I just feel like the world needs you now, more than at any other time in the 75 years I have lived. And that we have a powerful community of people who are committed to serving various sectors of this world, including the natural environment, including the military, including in prisons, including refugees in Europe and in this country. I just say, go for it. Mm-hmm. You have Upaya's total support. And we've been braided together into one family. And we're like a strong rope here to pull together and to bind others into what it is to be free from suffering. And I'm also very aware that the current situation, not just in this country, but in the world, is disturbing. And we know from the work in social psychology, be disturbed. It is not that you should go around looking like a perfect Buddha. Your disturbance will transform into the energy to transform the world. The worst sickness I believe that people in the world suffer from is apathy, moral apathy. And you are not suffering from that. And for that, we are so grateful. Be disturbed. Let your heart continually break open. Use what you have been given, whether it's your privilege or the upayas of this program, of this training, to engender both strength and humility, both wisdom and compassion. And as I said in the little Cerro Gordo temple, this is not about delivering somebody a sugar-coated bologna sandwich. That does not serve. Work your edge. You cultivate moral character by sitting in the charnel ground, your own and others, not by just making nice. Okay? And also, appreciate your life. My teacher's teacher said this so many times, appreciate your life. Not just to stand on the edge of, but also to see clearly, you have been given a fortunate rebirth. Use this life well, okay? Thank you.
So if all of our graduates would please stand. And come forward as I call your names. Kyoto, Diana Fish, Ina and John. Please make a standing bow and then kneel in Shukke. And come up nice and close. Okay?
I know, Andy. So Andy, thank you for your work in a tough prison system and also your incredible honesty in really vetting, evaluating, testing a way to serve people who are incarcerated, particularly young men. Thank you, Andy. So Diana, among her many gifts, was actually in the military and is also a master cellist. And now has brought the extraordinary discipline of the life in the military and also the love that is in the heart of the cello to bringing music to accompaniment, accompanying accompaniment, people who are gravely ill. Thank you so much, Diana. So, Ina, your work in understanding unusual states of consciousness that are both characterized by suffering but also by wisdom. And looking deep through the lens of your own life, but also through the literature, and also through bringing a much deeper understanding to those of us who serve in worlds, which there are many, where people experience deep states that are both a gift and sometimes a great obstacle. Chaplains need to understand this. You've opened the door. Thank you, Ina. John. I know. Oh, John, you're just one enormous heart. And John is in the midst of the world of needle exchange and working with people who are addicted and really suffering in the Canadian cities. And yet you chose to take on a chaplaincy that I think is really powerful. And that to bring that work that you did and continue to do of working with people where there's a lot of violence and saying, okay, parent, what is it to be a parent? to actually nurture children who will become loving, responsible, non-addicted people. So I just thank you. Talk about a beautiful project, this sort of chaplaincy of peaceful parenting. John, thank you so much.
So please make a standing bow. So you'll pick up your saga now. Wait for Kyoto.
Oh, it's very English. You can stop apologizing right now. We have a video with Amy Schumer that'll end it for you if you haven't seen it. Sorry, Andy.
A standing bow together. And then return to your seats. Kim, Christina, and Christy, please come forward. Please make a standing bow, and then kneel and Shukke. Come nice and close.
I know. This is a Kim Sai endeavor. Your work with people who have fled countries under siege, and your work in the prison, and also I think of Emir, your adopted son, a refugee from Syria, your huge family, and also your capacity to bring a quality of ferocious compassion, but also finely tuned empathy. I'm so grateful for what you have done. And I will say, Dolpo Rinpoche said to me yesterday, Kim actually read a kind of declaration of radical chaplaincy, and we will all read it because we will be sharing it widely. You really caught the true wind of this Dharma. Thank you, Kim, so much. You have been doing the work of a chaplain, sitting with dying people, dying children, families in crisis. You know how much chaplains suffer. You've looked right into the heart of every chaplain who is a colleague of yours, but mostly you've looked into your own heart. And you've created a path out of that suffering, not only for yourself, but for chaplains everywhere. I thank you so much. Your work will be a model for everyone who comes through this training. Thank you, Christina. Christy, we're in the middle of this really strange time of a whole population of people who most of us in the room have no knowledge about, no connection with, and yet they're the people who brought Trump into office. They're the people who are the least understood and, in a way, the most marginalized in our culture. And I thank you so much for stepping through the veil, looking deeply into your own roots, but also what can serve to heal our understanding of what it is to take the hand of someone who is an evangelical or someone who is a fundamentalist, really in any religion, and to be, if I can use Kim's work, the moral third. To be the moral third as we cultivate relationship across the chasm of ignorance. Thank you, Christy, for your extraordinary work and life.
Please make a standing bow. And return to your seat. Laura, Cindy, and Corinne. Please make a standing bow together and kneel in Shukke.
Laura, when you started this project, Alan and I think Joshin a little bit, were a little skeptical. I don't know if anybody saw Laura's presentation. Laura's a geology student, master, you know. She's an incredible lover of the wild. She's just whip smart. And she went to work at REI, and what she perceived was, instead of working with, what looks like the conventional vulnerable populations, that people who serve others, whether they're working in a REI or they're a CNA or whether they're a nurse or a truck driver, these people suffer so deeply because they're objectified. They're completely unacknowledged. And Laura penetrated that into what we learned from her yesterday and in her thesis. And it really was eye-opening for all of us to see not only the result of that kind of disregard, and it is literally disregard, but it's also the effect of structural violence. It's how our system operates. So I thank you. And also for your years in the Nomads Clinic. You just were an amazing presence of love. So, and I love your mom. Sandy, where are you?
She's back there.
Your daughter rocks, and so do you. Cindy, you're just amazing. You're just this incredibly well-known yoga teacher and someone who's written many books. And, she just, I don't know how you do it. I'm not doing as well. We have the same book agent, by the way. And one of the great things that Cindy has done is reflected in this thesis, which is to create a whole strategy for people who work in the kind of service that we do, to use the body in a way to completely renew themselves in a micro moment. And it's like a new technology based on ancient roots. And I know this will be shared by many people, and not only in chaplaincy, but many professions. And I'm sorry to see you graduate. I've loved being with you these past few years. Thank you. Karen, I just thank you for doing this work of reaching into the population of girls and women and of finding ways to open up the great heart of women, particularly women in relation to the natural world. So often women find themselves dissociated from the very ground of the wilds. And this work that you've done is a path forward, bringing a real spirit of chaplaincy, of what is it to take care of the earth and take care of the women and the girls through the earth. I thank you so much. So glad that you're finished with this. Now you can begin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please make a standing bow and return to your seats. William, Brad, and Minnie, come forward. Together make a standing bow and kneel in Shukke.
Oh, William. Sorry, William was in the military too, by the way. I probably shouldn't tell everybody, but it was the Special Forces, and he's a special force. 4 years of doing inner chaplaincy. I mean, it's just amazing, and moving, so with such integrity through various content areas, from biology to communication, and finally you realized it had to do with you, the transformation within you as a human being, to open up the real spring of compassion and love and connection in your heart. And you've run lots of training programs now, and I just was so inspired to read your poetry and your journey, to realize that you're drawing the deep waters of wisdom and compassion into your life in a way that is extraordinary. So we've been through many things together. I was kidding William. We hiked up one winter to the refuge with like 4 feet of snow and many hours, and we got to the gate of the refuge and we were so exhausted, and William had this huge backpack filled with my stuff and food and everything, and we were just broken. I mean, I didn't have anything on my back, but anyway, I have the handicap of some years on him, and we both dropped to the snow like lead, and it was just a short shot to the main cabin. And I just remember we started laughing like we're almost there. That's what I felt like the first year you got out of Chaplaincy. He's almost there. He's almost there. He's almost there. You're here. Thank you for unburdening yourself and also helping me in so many ways. The other thing is, this is the guy who comes in once a month because he's Mr. Accurate and sharpens our knives. And you talk about a weapons man. You know not only how to sharpen the knife, but also sharpen the mind and heart. Don't give up on us yet. So Brad, this is another view of you, which is the view of non-duality, of identity and mortality. And again, this has to do with how do we see the world and how do we actually perceive our own subjectivity. And I know how extraordinary the work that you do up in Canada is, and opening this vision for others. And I thank you so much for being a faithful, hardworking student at Upaya and of life. And Minnie, fireball. Minnie said, my life turned upside down, and it did. Minnie took on the 3 tenets. And I think that your cultural identity, your racial identity, and also your identity as a woman and also as a physician have been really powerful lenses to bring into this work. And I am just so amused and delighted. You used very, tight parameters on empirical research methodologies. It was really interesting to evaluate the efficacy and the transmissibility of the 3 tenets. And this is one of the most important things that we teach here. And thank you, Minnie. Your fire has been my delight.
You may now stand and standing bowed together and return to your seat.
Is that it?
That's them.
Wow.
Would you or Sensei like to say a few more words?
You should.
My mind is pretty blank just from taking all of you in. Now, why don't you sit and be comfortable? The richness of your teachings here for the last 2 days have been quite overwhelming. And in many cases, really surprising, although not so surprising because I had seen all of your theses and papers. But I don't have much more to say, really. I really don't.
I know that feeling.
You know, sometimes the words flow, and sometimes they don't. But just great congratulations and mazel tov.
What a nice round of applause. Rinpoche, would you like to say a few?
Here, I'll give you a little.
Thank you.
My teacher always used to say, when some student graduate, and then when they get extra vows, and always he said, he is very kind of direct, you know. And he said, now you got more things, but when you go from out, don't take extra ego. So, when we learn more things, when we commitment, our vows, and that has to be two things, I believe. One, reduce our negative emotions, and second things, develop more compassion for other things. That's the only two reasons. Whatever we wear, whatever color we put, whatever we are, I just shaved this morning, but it makes me extra ego, then there is no reason to cut. Just, the machine or battery is wasting, that's it. So, one thing I want to say, just be careful, otherwise these blessings, what you receive from those teachers, vows, it become other cause and condition to get more ego. That is not so good. So firstly I want to say, take care, be to reduce, more humble. That's the first thing. And the second thing, we live in the rules, lot of rules. And I have seen in German one newspaper about how to sell meat. There are so many rules. And our life, whatever you go, whatever you do, any job, you have to sign contract. And those are full of rules. So without rules, we can't go any place. But rule has different. Now you are taking rules, which is fully peace, and which is the rules makes you altruism person. And that kind of rule is so precious to have that kind of rules in our life. And therefore, Shantideva says, these Bodhisattva rules, which is equanimity for all sentient beings. You pay attention and pay love, and you offer your experience, your knowledge, your time. And that kind of rule is example like the blind people who are just going like that, and how to say, luckily they found jewels in the trash. So blind people finding jewels, that is very lucky. It's not happen very often. And it seemed like you today you took these vows. And this is like blind people getting like precious jewels. It's like same like that. Another thing, you can look at in this world, so many lives are there, but we say human are better. We believe or we say it. Yes, some cases we are better. We have special kind of brain. But if you compare other lives and human life is very, very small numbers. But if you look at in human lives, and like you who are commitment for being servants of all sentient beings, that is so small, very, very small. It's like almost seeing like a star in the sunny days, like that. So that opportunity, that precious time, precious human life, that from now on your commitment to use for all sentient beings. So that is so precious. I'm really happy. And whenever you are receiving things, all these precious things, and always I'm from beside here, I'm always praying whatever she is giving rules, I'm paying attention, and also I'm praying also sometime to successful in these rules in the future. So then the last things, I'm always afraid myself. I learned something very long time. I spend time so much that my knowledge, my energy, I spend so much to know something. And there is some knowledge which I'm quite confidently I can use it. But I'm afraid that knowledge, if I use only myself, if I pass my life using that knowledge, spending preliminary school, few years, 10, and then college and university, you spend so much time, your wealth, your time, your parents' support, all that knowledge, if you use only doing yourself, only selfish things, that is not so healthy. And I'm afraid if I become my knowledge, if I use only myself, I will be really disappointed when the end of life comes. So, therefore, we have to use, don't think like something vows, like some very staying in the sky, you are like trying to catch that. That's not the way. As your thesis, how you presented this, and you really took Dharma into your knowledge. That's we should do it. And that makes us at least different than other animals. Otherwise, the birds are very good to taking care of their family, and sometimes the birds are better than dogs, The both partner, they take care so much, very good. And if we become better like only that, and what is useful, our knowledge, university time, school time, what is better? Just so therefore be Bodhisattva, and I wish you will do it. Thank you.
I would like to say something. I thought of something. I'm connected, as Roshi is, pretty widely in the Buddhist world. And along with the troubles that we see in our country and in the world, what I really see happening is a shift, in this country in particular. There's a shift from when I began at Buddhist Peace Fellowship in the early 90s, when engaged Buddhism was seen as, it was quite suspect, and it was seen as kind of like, kind of leftism in Buddhist clothes. Not anymore. You find so much heart in all of the sanghas that I see. So much concern from the teachers, moving towards an integrated understanding of suffering. And what I want to say is that you guys are also pathfinders. That's what we're creating here, because we're giving you a deep and integral view of the Dharma, which the Dharma adapted every country and every culture that it went through over the last 2,500 years. It's adapting here. Here, what we're seeing is an altruistic, interconnected, passionate vision of society, of a dharmic society. And this is, I think, the heart of the training that we've been offering here. And so you bear that responsibility on top of being, whatever particular work you do, talk to people. Talk to people in your communities. Talk to people in the wider world, and share this vision of the Dharma, which is just the flowering of seeds that were always there. But you have it, so use it widely.
Beautiful. So everyone, we're now going to move quickly into the more embodied parts of our ceremonies. And just so we're aware, we're going to try to move very efficiently because our kitchen is very eager to feed all of us. So in just a moment, I'm going to ask you all to stand, and please allow Rinpoche, Sensei, and Roshi to move toward the sunroom, and then I'll give instruction from there. So everyone, please stand. And then as they make their way, everyone here in the center, all of the recipients will make a nice tight little circle and face our officiants. And all of our guests, please step back and make a circle around the temple. And our novice priests will now step up onto the table. Mm-hmm. And if our residents could move some of the cushions out of the way. And we'll now have a process of recognizing the Buddha. And Roshi will lead the priests, and Anya, are you here as well? And as we circumambulate the group, we'll chant, Buddha recognizes Buddha, Buddha bows to Buddha. And each time we say Buddha bows to Buddha, everyone will do a standing bow to all of our recipients. Buddha recognizes Buddha. Buddha bows to Buddha. 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 Beautiful. And now we'll do Jihai. And this is an opportunity for all of the recipients to bow in gratitude to all of their teachers and guests, and for us to return that bow. So I'm going to lead here, and as we go by, we will shuffle, the shuso shuffle, and we will be bowed very, very low as we come around. And as we come around, if all of you could return the bow. Okay, so here, Bushin. Okay, are we ready? Beautiful. And before Roshi then takes all the ordinance to the ancestors' altar, we'll chant the 4 great Bodhisattva vows. Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transform them. Reality is boundless. I vow to perceive it. The awakened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transform them. Reality is boundless. I vow to perceive it. The awakened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transform them. Reality is boundless. I vow to receive it. The awakened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody